fish. At least he thinks he is. That's not bad. Stay down. Barely got him hooked. There's one behind him. Hey guys, this is Gene Jensen with BassResource.com. I'm out on Clark's Hill this morning in Georgia. It's mid-July and it's summertime. Goodness gracious, what a tough 2 days it's been of fishing. And that's kind of what I'm going to talk about today. This video is all going to be all about finding fish in the summertime. I'm going to try to get it done today. I tried yesterday and failed miserably. But, that's the way summer is. It's not my favorite time of the year to fish, but I've gotten a lot of requests on my channel and on Bass Resource on how to find fish in the summertime, and let's see how it goes. All right, that may be the only fish I catch for the day, so I'm going to sit down and kind of go over some details and things that I do to prepare for a day on the lake during any time of the year. First thing I do is I get a map and I pick out an area on the lake that I want to focus on. Clark's Hill is 71,000 acres, so I'm not going to cover that whole lake in a day. So I want to pick a small area that I can break down and I can look for things that are deep, because summertime bass go deep or they go into the grass. Well, Clark's Hill usually has a whole lot of grass, but the last couple of years it hasn't. So my focus today is going to be deep. So I picked an area that has got a lot of long points that go out into the creek channel. It's a huge creek that goes back. It's a major creek, goes back up on the south end of the lake. It's got a lot of humps and things like that, like I said, long points. And then I go on. Sometimes I'll go on Google Earth or go on the internet and do some research, look for fishing reports that have had the same conditions and things like that, but Clark's Hill doesn't have a whole lot of those online. Google Earth's a great tool if you don't have a map. Let's see, what else do I do? I look online and I check the weather the night before, and what I'm looking for is I want to know the wind. I want to know whether it's going to be raining, and I have two things in mind. First and foremost is safety. How heavy are the winds going to be? I fish out of an 18-foot aluminum boat. It can be pretty rough. Once these waves get to be white caps, it starts to get a little choppy. Anything bigger than that, it gets pretty dangerous. So I pay really close attention to the wind and the direction the wind's going. I want to know temperature and things like that. Things so I can be prepared for certain, for conditions. Another thing to take into consideration, the biggest thing to take into consideration, is seasonal patterns. What is going on right now? Is it the spawn? Is it post-spawn? Is it summer? Is it winter? Is it fall? What are they doing during that period of time? And that's something you can learn by going on Bass Resource, reading the articles, and things like that. It's just a matter of research. Put the knowledge in your brain and then go out and try it out on the lake. So right now we have summertime. What are the seasonal patterns? The bass are going to be finding oxygen. As water temperature rises, it loses its ability to hold oxygen that is enough to be sustainable for the bass. So the bass without wind or without rain or things like that are going to go deep. They've got to have oxygen. So basically with an 85-degree water temperature in the morning, which is what it is right now, I'm going to be looking deep. Now, any time of the year or any time I go out on the water, the first thing I'm going to look at on the water is going to be the watercolor. Watercolor is going to tell me a lot. It's going to tell me what color lure I'm using, what action I might want, because I might need some vibration if it's muddy, things like that. Watercolor determines a lot. So I'm going to judge that. I've gotten to the point where I'm pretty good at doing it without a lure, but if you're new at it, kind of a rule of thumb is get yourself a white lure, like a fluke or something like that, and let it sink down in the water. And if it disappears between 0 and 1 foot, it's muddy. If it disappears between 1 and 3 feet, it's stained. If it disappears between 3 and 6 feet, it's, I like to say it's murky. If anything deeper, it's clear, okay? Some people say 4 to 6 feet is clear. But it all depends on where you're from. Now, with lure selection for this time of the year, like I said, I'm looking deep, but the first thing in the morning, I'm looking shallow. Those bass come up, move up those points, move up those humps, and they sit on the top of those humps and they catch bait fish as they're migrating in and out of the creeks. The bait fish, their migration is at night they're in the backs of the creeks and they're feeding, and in the mornings they slowly move out towards deep water, so it's, you know, for safety reasons. And the bass will set up on points and humps and things like that and ambush the bait fish. So my lure selections for the morning is going to be like a buzz bait, a topwater, a walking bait, a shallow crankbait, anything like that, a fluke, a weightless fluke. And I'm going to go hit those shallow spots. A buzz bait, I'm going to throw it all the way up on the bank. I threw one up on the bank this morning. I had one fish miss it, and that was it. Then I went out towards these humps and started throwing this little crankbait, little mustard-colored crankbait, and ended up catching that one. And I missed one, and I broke off on about a 15-pound gar. So that's kind of how I attack the morning. And then as the sun comes out, this fog and this light cloud cover is going to go away here in a little bit. The bass will go a little bit deeper. All right, my deep water lures are going to be pretty simple. Going to be a Carolina rig with some type of a dark colored worm on there, because I'm going to be fishing anywhere from 15 to 30 feet. Deep diving crankbait that'll go down to about 20 feet. And a drop shot that I can fish directly underneath me. If I see something on my front depth finder, I can drop it down and fish it. I can cast it out a long ways and drag it deep in it. And I've got a ½ ounce weight on it, so it gets down to the bottom pretty quick. I might want to lighten that up a little bit. Might be something I consider. But those are my 3 deep water presentations. If I start seeing them stacking up pretty hard, I might go in, dig in my tackle box and see if I brought a spoon, a jigging spoon. But other than that, it's just a matter of going around and trying to find these fish. That's what I'm going to do for the next few hours. Hopefully I can find something. Hopefully it'll turn out better than yesterday. Yesterday I was on a different part of the lake and it was pretty tough. So hang tight, let's see what happens. Of course, I sit down, come up on a hump, and I throw a deep diving crankbait. Guys, I've got a big fish on and I'm not set up with a camera. Wouldn't you know it? I threw this 6XD out along a point and I've got about a 6-pounder on. I'm gonna let him play out a little bit. Dang it! Man, I love a 6XD. I finished filming that last little segment, and oh gosh, he's not 6, but he's got a big old freaking head. Look at that fish. Holy cow, I love summertime. Not. Look at that. He just swung at it. Look at that fish. Look how long he is. Holy cow. He wailed on that 6XD. What can I say? I just stopped at this point. I ended that last segment, looked, and I was in 18 feet of water. And I'm on a long point that comes way out, like I said. And I just grabbed that deep diving crankbait, threw it out, and was just bringing it back in. And he wailed on it. What a bad little fish. Golly, that's awesome. All right, let me get him back in the water. Thanks, bud. You never know. You never know. What can I say? That's summertime fishing. I'm going to keep fishing. I'm going to go try to show you guys how to find a rocky hump and things like that. And but for right now, I'm going to turn the video camera on and fish this point, see if there's any more fish like that on there. So, all right, guys, I'm going to show you something real quick. I'm going to show you how to set up your depth finder so you can find rock easier, and I'll also identify some grass on this depth finder. What you're going to do is you're going to go to your menu on your fish finder, and you're going to bring your range. Here it says auto. My lower range is automatic, so it's going to automatically zoom down or automatically open up. I want it to zoom in. And I want my lower range to be double what my depth is going to be. So say I'm looking for a hump that's in 60 feet of water, I'm gonna run it to 120 feet. But right now I'm just going to run over a shallow hump. I wish I could get one deeper. And I'm going to show you what grass and what rocks is. I'd go deeper, but I got a thunderstorm coming in and I want to get the heck out of Dodge before it hits. So I'm going to be in about 20 feet of water, well 16 feet of water, but I'm going to zoom into, let's just go to 50 just so I can show you guys. Okay, I'm going to show you what I'm looking for. Let me turn the motor on. Okay. I may edit this out because it may take me a second to get to this hump. Okay, right now we're in 29 feet of water. Okay, coming up. Okay, we're coming up this point. Actually, is a hump on the end of a point. Okay, you see this double echo right down here? See how it's red? See these little humps, little bumps right here? That means it's a really hard bottom, and that's your rock right there. Those two little spots right there, and then if they're bigger, they'll be big and red. Okay, and now let's move up a little bit shallower, see if I can show you some grass. That's actually a little bit of grass right there. Notice again the double echo, and you got a hard bottom because you see the reds in there. Now watch what happens when I change it to grayscale. Okay, that's what a normal gray depth finder will see. There's a fish right there. There's a stump. Okay, normal grayscale, the darker the line, the harder the bottom. You notice you see blacks in here, and if it's a muddy bottom, you won't see any blacks. You'll just see gray. Okay. See, this is the shallow hump we're coming up on. Now I'm going to go across, see if I can pick up some grass. Pick up some grass, pick up some grass. Oops. I got to go back down to auto in order for it to do this. Alright, I'm going to edit this part out. I'm going to spin back around. Actually, we're almost should hit some grass here in just a second. That's a little bit of grass right there. You notice it's not red. It's not hard. It's another little bit of grass. There's not a whole lot of grass on this point. Coming way up, 6 feet of water. There's a rock. See how hard that is? That's actually my boat wash. Alright, you see how this is kind of bushy on top, greens and yellows? Okay. You go to grayscale. Okay, it's a little bit of white on top. That's shallow grass. I'm not worried about the double echo, but it just lets me know it's a hard bottom. Shallow grass right there. Okay. All right, you kind of get the idea. Hopefully, hope I explained it right. All right, I was hoping to catch one more fish and end this video, but as you can see behind me, I got a thunderstorm coming, so I'm gonna get the heck out of Dodge. But like I said, summer's tough. It can be fun sometimes. To be honest with you, it's my least favorite season to fish. But like I've always said, you can't catch a fish from the couch. You got to keep your line wet. So I was glad I was able to come out here and at least catch a couple of fish deep, and well, a couple of fish this morning. Show you kind of how to find things deep. I hope I did a good job of explaining it. If not, I can always make another video. It is what it is. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and like I always say, visit bassresource.com for the answer to all your questions about bass fishing, and have a great day. He ate that rage craw. Holy cow.